Hi everyone, it's Teacher Desmond here, and I wanted to invite you to a place that might not be as like one of the temples that I've shown you or other places around Khon Kaen, but this place is very special and inspiring to me. This is my classroom at Kanakon Wittayalai School in Khon Kaen, Thailand. So I have a lot of very good memories in this classroom, room 616. I'll never forget it. So I thought it was a good place to read one of our last stories together from Teacher Desmond's Thailand Tales. And today we're going to be reading our last story from Thai Children's Favorite Stories, Fables, Myths, Legends, and Fairy Tales by Marian D. Toth, illustrated by Patcharee Meesukhon, which is a very, very good book. I've enjoyed reading this book to you guys. And here's the first one. Now, I've been to Bangkok many times. It's a wonderful city, very, very busy city. But if you ever come to visit, there's lots to see and do there. And my family's really enjoyed it. And today's story is about Bangkok, the big city. There you go. There's a guy looking up at a beautiful kite. How the Bay of Bangkok came to be. So let's listen about another part of Thailand. Okay. Once upon a time, a kite flew above yellow bamboo rooftops, past green jungles, and high into the bright blue sky of Thailand. During the day, it blocked the sun, and at night, it hid the moon. The kite was larger than an elephant, larger than a house. It was the largest kite in Thailand, and maybe the largest kite in the world. If you slid from the kite through the clouds down the long yellow kite string, you would find yourself in the compound of Kun Kiha, the best kite maker in Thailand. He was an old man, but he always felt young when kites were flying. During the third month, the mango monsoons blew like gusts from a giant bamboo fan. The largest kite in Thailand needed strong winds to keep it flying. Kun Kiha prayed to the gods to encourage the winds to blow. He had spent over a year making his gigantic masterpiece, and now he wanted all the children in his village to enjoy it. The idea for the kite came in the year of the snake. It's the year of the snake now. On a day when Kun Kiha's compound hummed with the busy noises of children making kites, sawdust puffed into the air like the pollen of flowers. Paintbrushes swished reds, blues, and yellows over slender strips of bamboo. Kun Kiha could not take a step without meeting a question. Is it true that kites can call the winds and bring rain to the rice fields? Chai, it is so. Kites can even tell what will happen in the future. Some wise men look at a flying kite and see in each movement a glimpse of things to come. Can kites do anything else, Kun Kiha? Chai, he answered. Sometimes we use them to carry explosive. And kites are also good soldiers. An early Air Force. Kun Kiha, can a man ride in a kite? Asked a child prophetically. Kun Kiha paused and shook his head. Myru, I don't know. No one has tried it. I guess a man would need a kite as big as a house to ride in it. I think I know where we're going with this. Can you build a kite that big, they asked? Kun Kiha laughed. I don't know, but I can try. Will you help me? The children shouted, Chai, and shrieked with delight. Run along now, children. You must rest now. Tomorrow we will watch the kite fights. The next day, Kun Kiha took his little friends to watch the kite fights in front of the king's royal palace. Watch carefully, children. The kites are like boys and girls quarreling. The male kites are called chula. They are big and star-shaped. The female kites are called pekpao. They are small and dainty. Kite fighting is a team sport. The object is to try to keep your kite in the air and guide it to attack the enemy kites. Both the chula and the pekpao try to force each other out of the sky. After the kite fight, he took the children home and taught them how to make chula and pekpao kites. His compound was full of laughter from happy children. But where do I place the hooks in my chua kite? A little boy asked. Put the hooks on the bottom so they can catch the strings of the pekpao, he said. The little girls said, Kun Kiha, you want the chua kites to win. Come help us with our pekpao kites. Now, children, said Kun Kiha, it isn't who wins that matters. It is how well you observe the rules of the game. In kite fighting, there are 50 rules to remember. It takes a long time to learn them. Most of all, you must be as clever as a tiger to make your pekpao twist and dip. Each flutter of wind sends the pekpao in a different direction. The Pak Pao is like a chicken chased by a dog. You never know which way the chicken will go. Chula kites are stronger, said the boys. Chai, said Kunkia. The little boys gathered around Kunkia and said, Kunkia, why don't you make a chula kite that is bigger than a house? We shall see, he said. When the kite season was over, Kunkia began to make an enormous chula kite. It was so long he had to remove the end of his house. It was so tall he had to remove the ceiling from his house. To add to size, he had to tear down the rest of the house. Poor Kunkia did not have a house anymore, but he had a giant kite. It was the only kite in Thailand bigger than a house. Every day the children came to watch Kunkia paint swirls, diamonds, and traditional designs on the kite. They agreed it was not only the largest, but also the most beautiful kite in Thailand. But wait, there's more. On the first day of the waning moon, the wind roared across the ocean and swept over the jungles. It was a strong and steady wind. Before the sun dawned, all the children gathered next to Kunkia's kite. They greeted their friend by clasping both hands together, bowing their heads and saying, Sawadi, good morning, Kunkia. Please, may we fly the kite today? Kunkia smiled. When a baby stands alone, we say he is setting up the egg. Today, let us set up the egg for our kite and let it fly for the first time. Kunkia called 8 of the larger children and gave each a heavy rope that was attached to the kite. He pulled the first rope himself. After a brief moment, no longer than it takes a chingkok lizard to catch a fly, the kite stirred to life. It soared into the sky like a giant bird. Higher and higher it flew while the children cheered and shouted. Kunkia tied the long guide rope to a huge boulder. He spent the rest of the day preparing a surprise for the children. It was a sliding pulley that allowed them to ride from the ground through the sky to the giant chula kite. It's very considerate of him. The children's faces brimmed with wonder as they floated in the kite with old Kunkia. It was like being in a magical world. All around them were soft white clouds fleeced with silver. The only sound was the flap of a bird's wing or the whistle of the wind. At this great height, the wind only tickled the kite and made it sway like a swing. Far below, the earth seemed as neat as a chessboard with rice paddies and squares. The network of canals looked like silver footpaths. All the houses looked the same, like little boxes on stilts. Each day during the kite season, the children dashed home from school, then met Kunkia in the clouds. He told them stories and gave them coconut candy. If he had not done those kind of things, they would still have come, because the greatest joy of all was to observe the beauty of the world from the kite in the sky. And here we go, a beautiful bay. One day the clouds were dark and the skies were scowling. A great storm is coming, said Kunkia. You may not go up in the kite today. As he spoke, a harsh wind almost blew the children off their feet. The kite began to sway and its rock anchor moved slightly. I'm afraid our kite might be damaged in this storm. Let's bring it down. Kunkia and all the children pulled the sturdy rope, but the force of the wind was so great that it lifted them from the ground. Be careful, children. We must let the kite go. The children obeyed, and just at that moment, a powerful gust of wind carried their enormous kite high into the sky, so it quickly disappeared from view. Kunkia sent the children home while he prayed for the gods to return his kite. What happened to the beautiful kite, the largest in Thailand? We shall never know for certain, for absolute certain, but the people who live in the south say that long ago a kite bigger than a house whirled through the sky, fell with a crash, tore open the earth, and created the Bay of Bangkok. Now Kunkia did not have a house and he did not have a kite, but he had the honor of changing the geography of his country, and he had the love of all the children in the land. He considered himself to be a very wealthy man. I'm a very wealthy man indeed in spirit to have been able to teach my children here in this classroom of all ages, and I hope that you enjoyed the story. So from room 616, Teacher Desmond, and have a great day. Bye-bye.